the recording so we don't forget.
Oh yeah.
All right, so I have a lot prepared here on my screen, as you can see.
But as much as I got.
So let's say, has anybody, probably not, you guys probably haven't played around much with the drawing derived function. I would imagine, do you even know what I mean by that? So
Drawing derived function is that where you're deriving elements from a drawing?
you're deriving fabrication sheets.
Oh yeah, darn it! I meant to send you the title block again.
Oh, yeah.
Thought about
Yeah, I
it
thought about that
every
the other
day.
day too. So let's just say I have some kind of elevation. And I know I got a double line in there. I really got to clean this out one day. So let's say I'll make this a little more interesting here. You can say top. Left. All right, so you say you have some kind of elevation here, and you can itemize so that you get your numbers. And then let's say we'll just start with one panel. So we could say drawing derive. So this is our tool to create fabrication drawings automatically. So basically what's happening is you can set, hey, I want this part or this assembly or multiple parts and multiple assemblies to have drawings created. And basically you you can ask for certain types of views, and it's going to extract that from your model here. So let's say, for example, you could send these sheets to your current sheets and views. You can also send them externally to separate drawing files, which I don't like quite as much. You also got some a little more advanced options. Let's just think about these first two, and we'll leave these for maybe a little bit later. So to existing drawing, here you got sheet selection. So here's where you could say, so the first one, new sheet for each view group. Okay, what the heck is a view group? A view group would be, okay, I've got a panel, and I want to create some assembly views. So say you have a front view, side view, and an isometric view. That would be a view group. So if you go to another panel, that would then be a different view group. You could do for each view group, you could have new sheet for each assembly, which is nice. I'm actually having some problems with this one, and they say they fixed it in a version, so I need to test that. But this one is my favorite. I can show it to you in another version, but I'm pretty sure it would not work well correct in what you're working with right now. But sorry about that. But
Okay.
at least we know about it, and they say they fixed it. I got a note this morning, um, but I'm never quite so sure. I always feel like maybe they don't quite understand what I've tried to tell them.
Yeah.
But let's start with this one, and let's say we want here a sheet main part. You see here in the structure of these panels, we've got our sheet metal part here has a little H by it. Any chance, hopefully I covered it. If I didn't, then that's my fault, but any chance anybody remembers what that might mean?
Oh, the tiny little H
Yeah.
hidden? I don't know.
No, I don't know what the H actually stands for, but that indicates a a indicated main part. So let's say you have a panel, or let's also think for let's think about steel for a moment. You got a girder or a column, or a sheet or an ACM piece or aluminum or whatever. And that is the main part of the assembly, and everything else is then connected to it. Um,
Okay,
so
I got you.
So you can actually declare that in your model by saying, I want this to be considered a main part, and that allows um, extra considerations as far as commands go by calling this a sheet main part versus just a general assembly. You can still use the general assembly, but there can be like it's like an extra filter, if you will. It's an extra property that can be utilized um, in various ways. Um, it's especially helpful for steel. Um, when you talk about steel detailing, creating all your drawings, uh, it gets rather complex with all the different connections and the boltings and the brackets and the, think of doing the framing for a whole building. You got columns and girders and stuff going everywhere. Uh, but here we can actually say that it's a sheet main part, and here we have a filter. So here's where if you wanted to see drawings for beams, plates, beams would of course mean your profiles. I think, in my opinion, I'm going to say no beams because a cut list I feel like is suffice for your saw operator to get that going. Now, if you want to see a drawing for that stiffener profile, that's fine. You can ask for one. Um, so okay, we got two existing. We got basically where is the information going to go. So we're going to create new sheets for each relevant sets of views. Um, here I'll show you a little bit later, new sheet for each assembly. That means one drawing per panel, and that's what I actually like the best, because you could make a single sheet fab ticket for this panel, and it's one piece of paper that your shop guys need to worry about. You'd probably make a book and you put them all in there and they can flip through or whatever, um, or however you do it now. Well, let's start here. Any questions on this top part other than this? That this was always a little confusing to me till I figured it out, but bear with me there. Um, okay,
I don't have any
parameters.
questions.
Okay, so parameters. This is where are the settings going to come from? Okay, from configuration. Well, who remembers what the configuration is? Um, remember what that is?
No, not right off the top of my head.
I'll say configuration database. It's your settings database.
Okay, write that down.
Here, I'll show you. So remember this. You come up here and you
Hmm.
got
I
catalog and
remember
you got
that.
and you got configuration. Configuration might as well say HiCAD settings, because here is where all your settings, all your behind the scenes settings, let's put it that way, this is where they reside. This would be like you go to SolidWorks and you go to blah, blah, blah up there in the menu and you say SolidWorks settings and something opens up. This is our equivalent to that. It just happens to be our own standalone application where SolidWorks is going to have a dialog pop up that's inside of SolidWorks, I'm pretty sure. So here inside of settings here, we have a section called automatic drawing derivation, production drawing, and then this very strange term called usage. Usage is what Germany translated to English, which is basically a part category. It's a classification of parts and assemblies which contain how these drawings are created. It's the settings behind the derivation. But let's come back to that in a minute. So before we work from the settings database, we can also work right here in this screen. So we can work in the background, or we can work right here with all these settings right here in this menu. Now,
So when you select the set in dialog, it will ignore, it won't reference the config. It'll just go with what you set up right there. Is that what you're
correct.
saying?
Yeah.
Okay, you got that.
And I think working in the dialog first, I think is best to understand the settings,
Mhm.
but working from the background,
Did we lose Robert?
I think so.
I think we lost you, Robert. Robert is stuck.
Damn time travelers.
What do we do now?
Maybe we have to leave the meeting and come back, huh?
I think we probably have to. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave the meeting and come back. Oh,
Well,
wait a minute.
no, now I'm gone. Wait, what did I hit? Hit the view button,
Oh,
I think.
it's just me and you now. There we are.
Oh, he's back.
Well, Robert should be able
freaking
to come back.
Teams.
Yeah, Microsoft.
Yeah, or did you guys drop
Yeah.
or only me? Was it just me?
I think it was just you. So last time we heard you were advocating for when we first start learning this derivation to work with the set in dialog as opposed to the back
Yeah.
side config.
Yeah.
Just until we get to know it. I think it's what you're trying to
Yeah,
explain.
in the end, I think it's a little quicker or convenient to work from the background. It requires less input.
Yeah.
But even working from this dialog here, you can save a data file which captures everything in this menu. Every setting, every option that can be arranged can be saved as a DAT file and then loaded whenever you need it. So even though it's a little bit nicer to just work 100% in the background, you can also you can save however many settings files for this menu, and call them and load them on command. So
Are you still recording?
yeah, the
I have to ask.
recording still goes.
Okay.
You see, it's still yeah, because I dropped out and came back. The call never really
Okay.
ended.
I see it up there. Yeah.
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 But I do look for that, or at least I try to.
Okay.
I think I forgot it one time. So you can save and you can load, which is almost as good as working 100% in the background, but I still don't think it's quite as great. But let's just start here. So let's say that I want, for example, in an assembly sheet, and let's say I want AXO, a top, and then maybe let's see. You got top and you got front. Here's where you have to sit and think which is which on a panel. I think front is what we actually want, and then you could pick a right or from the left. But let's see what happens. Part of this is trial and error, trying to learn them. And even once you learn them, you still might think you know what you wanted to do, but it's sort of trial and error. And when you get the result you want, now save that data file, or and then extract all your panels. But when you're starting, just pick one, pick a test file. And here's, okay, I kind of skipped over this. Here you could say you want everything in the entire model, or you can say only new parts. You can pick individuals, or here you can say selection list, including any subparts, meaning subparts to the assembly. You also got some only new parts in the selection list. So you actually got some nice options here. It used to be not quite as many. So now you got all these to try to figure out what's the difference, but maybe not so good for learning, but probably pretty nice for, in the end. I usually keep it on this selection list with subparts, and I pay attention to what I have active. If I want everything in the model, then I activate the top level assembly. So I'm essentially doing the same as all, but I'm doing it with control. Because
Right.
if you keep it on this all, let's say you keep it on all, but you only want to do one panel, and sometimes you're activated thinking you have it covered, and then you click OK, and now you got to wait for every single panel to get a drawing for. Well, that's not so bad. You only have 9 panels, but most likely you're going to have far more than that going on in your drawing area. So here's where I like to say selection list with subparts, and then I kind of forget about it, and I pay attention to what I have active. So let's say assemblies, we want these types of views. Here, sheet metal, let's say we want, well, let's go with this to start. Down here, we can say drawing sheets. Here's where you can say you want a particular frame. Let's say ANCB. Here you want the scale to be adjusted to fit inside of that. You want to insert this frame. Here you uncheck it. Well, now you won't get a frame. Complete the title block. Once you have that set up, you can actually have that being filled out while it's creating the drawing.
Wow. Yeah.
View groups. So here's where you can say this is a representation you want for standard views. Okay, what is a standard view? A standard view is a top, bottom, left, right type of view, or back, or whatever. Sectional views, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. AXO views, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Here you can insert a BOM, name of the settings file. Remember when we went to Report Manager and there was a configuration settings that you would load with that? Probably not. I hate to leave this menu because it won't remember my clicks, but oh
That's
well.
okay.
So remember when you click bomb, and here you had a settings behind the information. Let's
Okay.
say
The bomb config.
bomb config. Let's say this one, for example. And then here you can also see it. So this is what it's referring to. So what is the how to configure the data for, see, it until you hit OK, it forgets what you did here. I suppose I also could have done a save load, but here I just look at this again. Front left, sheets, that's okay. Here, that's okay. So here's where you can put your name of the settings file here. And if you say quantity list, for example, in let's say drawing frame, you see here you not got that same drop down that we just saw a second ago. Let's say no for this one. That saves us something to play around with.
Okay.
Insert a frame. This is a green frame around your view groups. I don't like it so much, so I say do not. But you probably don't know what I'm talking about, so maybe something for us to play around with to activate it so that you see what I'm talking about.
Does it get printed? The frame, the green frame?
You could probably switch that to black, but I'll show you what I mean.
Not printed.
Here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Attached parts, sheets longitudinal, plates. So sectional views. Okay. So you got some options here. So here we got here. Okay, dimensioning rules. So when parts are automatically dimensioned using this command, there's something in the background called dimensioning rules. And these rules, they're really settings. Why are they not called dimensioning settings? Because we actually have dimensioning settings. That is the old way of working. So we had to come up with a different nomenclature, so they called it dimensioning rules. But it's settings working in the background on how the dimensioning occurs. When you have something that's automatic, you got to have settings behind it so that it knows how to do it. We will, being in cladding, I want you to know that they exist and kind of where they are. But you don't need to worry too much about this. It was originally created for steel because of all the different ways you can detail a steel project with girders and columns. And you know, the steel structure people, you might think of like Tekla. Tekla software would be our competitor in steel structures. SDS2. Basically, you got to have something behind what's controlling that. And there's hundreds of these rules for steel, and there's about maybe 10 to 15 rules for sheet metal. So it's not so bad for you. If you're in steel, there's a whole lot more to try to figure out what's going on there. But for you, I'm going to show you where they are and what it is. But for the most part, my customers in cladding don't have to pay so close attention to this.
Okay.
So what else do we have here? Shortening views, you got some options there. Shorten your sheet developments. I tend to say that looks kind of silly, but you have the option here. Annotation tags. Here's where you can say what you want to annotate. Subparts, do you want that? Let's say yes, but maybe we don't need to see a call out for every screw, hole, bore on your panel. That's going to get very cluttery. You're going to have leader lines all over the place, and it can get a bit much. So here's where you can fine tune that to more what you want.
We can still add it after the fact, right?
Yeah, you can do anything after
We
the
wanted
fact.
to. Yeah,
Um,
okay.
so you can fine tune things.
We might just want to call one thing out.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can just add it real quick.
Yeah.
But you know, if you can do it automatically, then try to find the settings so that next time you don't have to do it yourself. But of course, you got to learn this menu before you can really dig in there. Hopefully, this menu is familiar. This is basically what we used when we created developments. Well, if we're going to create an automatic sheet development, it needs to know how to create this. And here's, remember all these where you can set your lines and layers and line types for various items. Here's where your tooling lines would be defined.
Yeah, I remember
Hopefully
this.
this looks at least vaguely familiar. You can save this as a favorite. Let's say I load my kind of standard one that I have for, you know, training and demos. Sectional views of sheets. Here's where you can set different things in there. But let's go ahead and let's just sit okay. Let's say okay, and let's kind of see what happens here. And here you can set something called, you can set part orientation, where you can define which side is the front. We might actually want to set the back side for that so that we're seeing the back of the panel with all the items on it, whereas an isometric view of the front of the panels with tags going to your profiles isn't really so helpful because you can't actually see the profile. But let's come back to that. We might actually want to do that, but we're going to continue anyway. And it's working here. I think I know what's going to happen here, but let's see. So it's creating a sheet, or it's creating two sheets actually. And here's what we have. Okay, that's horrible. We got a problem with the orientation, which screws up that view. I think I know how to fix that. Here's a sheet for the sheet metal part. Maybe a little busy there, but this one looks pretty good. This one, well, does not. So we can try to improve that. But here's where, remember when we were in this menu and we went to sheet metal and we asked for a front view, a development view, and some sectional views. So that's how it knew what to create here. This development here was created per the settings of the favorite here that I'd activated. Now let me come back over to here. What I think is happening is that I thought that would have worked. Let me try that again with a different one. Also, the less views that you ask for, a little bit quicker is it? That's why I really like that one sheet with for example, a development view and then an AXO of the panel from the back showing all the parts. I'm going to show that to you here. Unfortunately, I can't demonstrate that in this version. So here we have, okay, it's well better, but still, I think we got a little bit much going on here. Actually, hold on a second. New sheet for each assembly. So actually, this in this case did put it all on one sheet. Not quite what I had in mind though. But here, so here you have your assembly views. This isn't bad, but it's still a lot of room for improvement here. So here's where we could say, maybe we could simplify this and take away some of these. But what I wanted to do first was to say, go back here to new sheet for each view group. And then let's see what that looks like first.
So will it reprocess everything once you do that? New sheet for each view group.
So now it's going to have one sheet for these assembly views and a second sheet for these sheet metal. That's actually one of the best new sheet for each assemblies that I've seen on this version, because I've been having trouble with that command. I emailed the guy last night. And see, that still looks like garbage. So what you could do here, and obviously you're going to want to find the source of the problem, which very well may be a bug, is you could come back here and say, I want to change these scales. It's going to look very interesting for a moment. So the views are changing, but the tags are still crazy nuts. So here's where you could say update instead of rederive and say, hey, I want to rearrange dimensionings and annotations. Hopefully this doesn't make me a liar.
Where'd you get the update? Where was the update?
It's in the drop down.
Okay, I got you.
So, okay, they're not in the right position, but you see now the annotations have been, well, dramatically improved. So now, let's say rearrange views, and I'm crossing my fingers it doesn't put the scaling back to how it was before. So now, okay, they're arranged better. I was hoping it was going to put that in a frame. There we go. So I was able to make that correction, but really we want to get to the root of the problem and get the settings nailed down so that you're not screwing around with it like what you just saw.
And we just took our time and tweaked it. We could probably get it where we want.
You can. And my suggestion for learning this is make a starting point, go through the menus, come up with something, say, okay, take a look at it. Okay, I like the way this is. I don't like the way that is. And then come back through here and try to find the right menu here to change what you don't like. And I would change one thing at a time to start. Only make one click, one change, and then recreate and look at it and say, okay, did it do what I asked it to? Did it do it, but not quite what I was expecting? Or did it do, okay, that's exactly what I had in mind. And then you can kind of generally learn all these commands. We do have a good spot in the help. I think you're gonna see my lose order here for a quick second. Open. Yes, reload. What do you mean it can't be reached? I don't believe that. Maybe they're down.
I think they were down earlier this week too. Briefly, I couldn't get on for about 15 minutes one time.
Even our internal page is not. We have an internal site hosted
Okay.
by Wiki. Well, okay. I'm sorry about that. But there is a nice page. There's a lot of information in the help on this menu. It'll go through. But I think most of it's self-explanatory. You just got to kind of read it and try it.
Okay.
So let's see. I'd still like to make this better. This one view it made small again. I didn't like that so much. Anyway, just way too small. Anyway, I know this version has problems, so I'm sorry about that. But I'd like to play around with it a little bit, but I'd kind of like that to have it fixed before you really dig in, because I'm afraid it's going to confuse the heck out of you. And so I just saw something from this guy today. He says it's been solved. But I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah.
So he said, let's see, 30.2.4 and 2026 patch 1. Okay, that's good. And obviously this one. So
Are we on 30.2.2? Or is
you're
it
2.2 or 2.3? I'm not sure what you're on. I'm on 2.3 right now. Let's see. Well, shoot. No, the site's down. I can't go see if it's
I think we're 2.2.
you're
I
2.2.
think so.
2.2, the problem will exist in. It's been evident for a few versions now. That's why I'm a little bit annoyed. But
We are 30.2.2.451.
451. Fourth, the
2.2.
last number is like the build number. So
Yeah.
they actually they created a build of the software daily. So I don't know. I imagine it's automatic to some degree, but I think every night it takes all the coding that was done up to the day before, and it creates an ISO file like you would install from. And I can actually go out to a server and download any of these betas that are in between the released versions and test them if I want to. Don't always have time for that, but I can.
Do they encourage you to do that?
Um, Germany has a team that does that, but my hunch is since most of the world is metric, they don't focus enough as much time as I'd like to see them on imperial versions. Because sometimes a problem will exist only in metric or only in imperial. And my hunch is that they're, if 90% of their customers are using the metric version, uh, I can understand that math. While I don't necessarily agree with it, you got two versions. They need to both be up to par. For the most part,
Yeah.
it's not a huge problem. But my manager encourages it, but sometimes he has too much time on his hands. Um, he's been working with this software for 25 years. I'm pretty sure he does it in his sleep. Um, and he'll get up and he'll work well into the evening because his wife is a nurse at the hospital and has odd shifts. Um, and he'll be working on his own, just testing around, and then he'll wonder why we're not testing. Well, because I've got training to give instead of testing. You know. uh,
Yeah, I got you.
but okay. Wonder if that means that the FTP is also down. Oh, yeah, they're very down right now. That was a very quick fail.
Quick refusal.
Unless my computer just needs a reboot. Probably not, but could be. But sometimes strange things happen because you leave it on for too long, but pretty sure I rebooted yesterday. So anyway, so hopefully this is indeed fixed. What I now want to do is jump back to an older version. I'm going to go back to 30. I'm going to go back to 30.2.1 because this was the last version where I liked what things were happening in.
With that same functionality you were just showing us. So if it's not there now, it's just a matter of time. It sounds like it's an issue that's been reported already and just needs to be tested before it gets pushed out. How often do they push patches out that would address those kinds of things?
Um,
Or do they do patches? They just let them all
no,
accumulate and then just release another version?
well, they do that. If they have critical, extremely critical functions, they'll roll out what's called a hot fix, which is basically a mini patch, a mini
Mhm.
patch, and then a patch will compile of a list of fixes that they've implemented. Um, and then we have feature packs, which would be uh, feature additions, feature improvements, a new function, for example, but those also have patches compiled inside of them also. Um, so it kind of depends on the severity of the issue, whether it's a hot fix needed or if it can wait. If I had customers actually creating these sheets in the way, well, I know they're doing it now. My guess is that they're not updating like I do. So they're using a version that is even older than the one that I have right now. So they're not seeing the issue. But as soon as I had a customer actually having that issue, I would be like, hey, look, guys, they can't create their sheets. Like, how come this wasn't a little more lickety split?
Yeah.
Let's see.
So are they pretty good responding at that point? With
Yeah, I've seen them really make some things happen uh, when it's needed. But of course, you can't classify everything as needed right now. We all want to,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
yes, we need this now, we need this now, but then there's no way to classify or manage the work. Um,
I think the software is robust enough where we could come up with a temporary alternative, right? That's gonna,
there often is a
yeah,
workaround of some
yeah,
sort. It might not be the best, but it usually is a way
right.
to accomplish. Um, but here's how I like to show these. Let me just pick a panel here. For example, it already has the numbering. And here I'm going to say new sheet for each assembly. And here I'm going to work from my configuration because I have everything set up the way I want it right now. Let's see what I get here.
So how many different versions do you have it on your machine total?
Now, 6. I don't.
That's pretty
I can
cool.
get rid of them. I don't need this 2024. It's been lingering. But I have some customers that are using 2024 still, I think. So
Yeah,
sometimes it's nice to have that around. But all of these, I hang on to them for a little bit because I'll do a demo. So for example, this used to be the latest at a certain moment this past year, and I was doing demos in this. And then I do a new version. I don't immediately kick this out because let's say I missed a file, a settings that I copy from this version to this version. Um, Remember how I told you if you're saving them in a little archive folder, then it should be seamless. Um, well, I go through versions so often that I try to save them, but I might miss something, and then I can always
yeah,
go back and dig it out of the system files. So I tend to hang on to these. Um, I want this one because it does what I want it to do in this situation, but could I get rid of this one? Yes. This one I would probably keep until I get the 0.4, and then I want to get, this is 2026, so that's actually available to the public now. And so hopefully they got a 0.1 coming out there to address, the first month or so of any issues that were submitted. Um, but let's see, here's what I like. It's one
oh
page.
yeah, that's
You
really
get
nice.
you get the back side of the panel. You get materials. Your profiles are labeled. That's what I want to see, and I can't get that to happen in these newer versions, which was why I submitted the issue. Um, so
So
one
there would be
sheet.
a workaround to still do something like that, maybe not on a super automated basis or
Oh, you can still create this. Yeah. You can definitely create this on your, this wouldn't be that hard to create, one at a time. You simply isolate a view with your panel on it. You flip it over. You do auto annotation. You activate your profiles and the structure. You say auto annotate. Boom. Okay, the balloons go on there. You say I want a development view with dimensionings. Okay, you get that to the right scale. There it is, and you simply pull a material table from your panel assembly by bill of materials, send to HiCAD. Click, you paste it right in there. I mean, I feel like you could manually create this sheet in about a minute or less, once you get the hang of things. Um,
Mhm.
But still, you got 100, you got 1,000 panels. You don't want to spend a minute on each one creating a sheet. That's
No,
it's a lot of
wouldn't we?
panels.
We'd still be like if we've got duplicate panels. Obviously, we're not going to create a bunch of different sheets for the same exact panel with the same exact specs. We
No,
would just update the quantity at that point because it would it.
here I have a times a total here on my page.
Okay.
Um, and it's getting that by means of the auxiliary text in the sheet development parameters. And in the auxiliary text refers to the it's like a note. It can be inside of your panel, it can be underneath your panel, it can be, well, I can tell you where it can be. It can be outside. It can be outside the panel, outside with line, or it can be inside the outer the contour of the panel. Like actually, if you get it short enough, it can fit inside here. Mine started to get a little long, and I didn't like the overlapping, so I moved it outside. But here you got, hey, this same familiar looking template, and here you have a part attribute called total quantity, and you can reference that, and every item, every sheet metal part with that same item number, which is generated by the identical part search. So basically, if it's identical, it gets the same number. Some people don't like that. That's fine. You can say all items, different numbers. But here you could say total quantity here, and here you get something like that right here. But yeah, it's probably this afternoon. I'm gonna investigate this. I'm gonna say, okay, is this actually available right now? It might not be available to you, but at least if I can get my hands on it, and we can think about getting you updated to either a 2025 latest, or if you're interested in 2026, we could do that as well.
I'm all about function over form. I'll just take the one that works,
Right.
even if it's 2020 and it does everything we need it to do. But yeah, I'll lean on your advice in that regard.
I've been using 2026 a little bit.
Mhm.
I haven't found anything blaringly problematic because I do demos. My only gripe is this function right here that I'm complaining about.
Mhm.
And I'm a little annoyed because I submitted this back here, and they've since then issued this, and this, and it still don't work. So I'm a little, I'm kind of like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah,
So, but I'm not a software developer. I'm not a programmer. I don't know the first thing of what went into to fix this. It very well might have been not easy. So you know, fair enough. Uh,
how are you liking 26 compared to all the others? Any
um,
major differences?
um, I can show you what it looks like. We got some really nice things with point clouds. We really improved how you can make the point cloud appear. I know that might sound I don't know, trivial, but
Sounds
let's
pretty
see.
cool to
They
me.
made a PowerPoint. What's new? Oh, good. I do actually have this downloaded. Let's see here. So you can actually make this look even more and more realistic as far as how crisp the image appears. You actually can now control the colors. We got this some improvement, emphasize edges, improved display. We've always been able to change the point size, but that was pretty much all we had. Now we can change size, brightness, and we can activate these enhancements here into. I mean, it's, if we zoomed in on there, it's almost looking like a photo.
Yeah, I was gonna say that looks really good how it defines those edges like that.
Yeah.
That's the software doing that?
Yes. So after you read into HiCAD, you can of course, compile the data in your Ferrocene or whoever your scanner software is. I can't remember which one you got. You guys said it's been in a box somewhere, right? You haven't really pulled it out,
Yeah, we haven't touched it in a couple of years. I don't
but
I don't think we ever really had it working like it should, like it's designed to. I wasn't part of that. I was before my time.
sure. So that was a big one. It stands out to me. I can flip through here a little bit. They kind of improved some of the it looks more modern. I can of course start that loading while we're talking here. A little more flashy stuff on the start center. You can have, you always had history. Now you can have favorites. So you can tag drawings to be in your favorites. And then you can always have you won't have to go dig for it or go out on the server or wherever. You see it kind of looks
Similar.
a little bit similar but different here.
Yeah.
So
Now our drawings produced by the different versions, they'll load up into each different version.
they go forward, they do not go backwards. So within 2025, they 99% of the time they can go forward and backwards depending on the 2025 version. For example, you gotta have an early 2025, and then you go to a later one, and you save your drawing and you go back to try to open it in that earlier version. If it's the same version year, let me say 95 to 99%, it should open. But when you go from 2025 to 26 and save that in 2026, no chance of opening it in 2025 anymore.
Right.
So, and that's because they changed, they changed the kernel. It's just a complete different.
Yeah.
I'm not a programmer, but it just don't work no more. So it'll convert it forward. It will not convert it backwards. So let's see. I don't know. It just looks a little more. I don't know, modern. I think they used an okay term there. So revised ribbons. So I guess now, yeah, with 4K monitors, we weren't so there with it, but I believe they've changed that now. I only have a 2K monitor, so it's never been a problem for me. But I imagine you got lots of people out there with their, um, 60 some
Yeah.
inch widescreen 4K. Um, we got some enhancements here as far as computing attributes, so you can actually use some parameterization behind your attributes. That's something where maybe I'm not so familiar there, but I actually had a customer figure it out, and he was using it, and he was showing me, and I actually had no idea what he was doing, which which maybe that's shame on me, or maybe that's just you know, good for him. So you hide surfaces temporarily to allow you to select things. So
That is
Alt,
really cool.
faster closing. Let me know if this is too fast. I'm trying just to kind of flip through here.
That's all right.
Um,
You're good.
oh yeah, this is pretty good. So we've always had grids that can be created, but they're now allowing you to create grids off of curves and unique lines rather than just, you know, horizontal, vertical. So for example, this is a sketch behind this grid, and this is actually the created grid, which we didn't do so much with because we're drawing our sketches and then using those sketches to put the cladding on there. You can also create a grid maybe for your elevation. You might want to do that. Steel structures. This is even more important, I think, because while we don't work quite like Tekla does an actually okay job simplifying things from node to node, for your steel, for your column and girder designs. I know you guys aren't Tekla guys, but we give you a lot more control over Tekla, but maybe a little bit of that ease goes away. And so our kind of remedy behind this is set up this grid, and now you can click node to node. So it kind of has a node to node in a way, what we can set that up, whereas Tekla is maybe more less control, but it's pretty quick and easy to say, I want a column from here to here, a girder from there to there. Of course, we still do that, but we've got about 20 extra forms of control that we give to you, which comes with a little bit of loss of ease, let's say.
Yeah.
Let's see, some forming here. Enhanced bore. Depth can be defined by a point now instead of a value. I would have thought that was already available, but perhaps not. Apply immediately. That's kind of nice because then you don't always have to click OK or apply. Cam joints. That might be of interest to you. Maybe. Enhanced cam joint. Parameterization of attributes. BOM relevant. Update all views with a single button. There we go. So now we have this one right here.
I like the W key.
No, this is update your views. The W key switches over to the world axis.
That's right.
Yeah.
Might be getting my software confused.
Here, this is new. You can create a duplicate sheet. So you know you can copy views, but you can actually copy the sheet with all the views, and then, you know, maybe make minor changes because you've got a similar looking part or panel. Of course, this would be helpful for more manual creations. If you get the automatic automizations working on the fab sheets, this might not be so helpful,
Yeah.
but it's still pretty cool. Visibility enhancements here. I don't know why they put this on top of. Set the current part list. Load the required part list. Okay. I haven't played around with all of this just yet, but I have a little bit of it. Some welding stuff that's more mechanical engineering. Here's the point cloud that we looked at. got some IFC.
Regarding
Automatic.
IFC, would you, well, this is almost like it's a modeling tool, but it's also a BIM type of tool. Is that how you would classify?
IFC is just a format.
Yeah.
It's a general format. It's not like specific to anybody's particular software. It's a BIM. It's like a massive step file with different parts, but each part has data attached to it. So
Right.
a step file is pretty dumb, right? It's just the geometry of the part, and
Right.
that's it. Which is still very nice. It has uses, but the IFC, you can save a Revit RVT file as an IFC, and then share that with whomever. Right now, that's the only way we can view a Revit model is by saving it as IFC. We're working on a direct.rvt conversion, which in my opinion, okay, that's great. That's more for marketing, because we can do everything right now with IFC, but for some reason it's like pulling teeth to like make people understand that all you got to do is take your Revit model and say save as IFC and send it on over, because we'll get so many different times. So we might request a model from a prospect to say, hey, send us a model, and we'll do a quick demo on it. We'll put some cladding on a part of the building using your model, and they say, okay, great, and we'll say send over an IFC, and we still get the RVT, which we can't do anything with, and it's like, okay, they're a prospect. Do we
Yeah.
how much do we want to beg for that IFC? So there's some online converters, and I think some partnering. Sometimes you can find somebody that has Revit, whether it's a customer
We have
or
a
a partner.
we have a Revit license. Yeah, we would just, we have another user that uses Revit. We just have him just change it over to an IFC, send it back. Or like you
Sure.
said, just ask the vendor or
You can ask them
contractor
if
to
they're a
send it.
prospect. You got to be careful of how much do you want to beg them for data.
Yeah,
That
true.
Oh, I forgot about this one. So we have an IFC viewer now available from the import menu, where you can check and uncheck various, I know
Oh,
it's
that's
maybe a
cool.
little hard to see. You can check and uncheck various parts and assemblies in your
Different
IFC model.
components.
Yeah. And you can render a quick preview to see, like here you unchecked one there. Maybe it's really small there to see, but you uncheck and then you ask for the preview. It's kind of good.
That's pretty cool.
Navisworks. Okay. They added my tubing that I asked for. Okay. That's good. Conical welded I-beam. So a new optimization function for steel people. Another one here. So I know this is not you, but over in steel engineering here, you got all these different buttons. Look, you could create, and these are automatically creating connections such as this. Cross bracing. There's quite a bit here. Base plates. So we had, oh, there it is right there, conical I-beam and top plate. So we added some new commands for the structural people. Subpart annotations, okay. fixed length profiles with different cutting angles. So it looks like some bill of material stuff here. Previously, profiles with the same length were combined into a single row in the profile list, even though they had different cutting angles. So now profiles with the same fixed length but different cutting angles are listed separately.
That's just a different way to organize.
Sounds like it. Wonder if that's mandatory or if that's an option now.
Right.
Feel like some people might still want it same length. Some people might still want it in the same row. So hopefully that's a option, not a mandatory. So okay, logical, that has to do with curtain walls and windows. Roof inclination. So we have a module that can create single profile or sandwich panels, you know, multi-part. And this is I guess a new where you actually create the roof inclination with actually bending, actually flexing that, which is previously it's actually a very nice command, but previously we were more single plane
Yeah.
handling. So here's for the piping and mechanical people, plant vessels. This we haven't implemented this anywhere in the U.S., so I haven't studied it at all. But it is an animal in and of itself. So
That's pretty cool.
So, like for pipe spool drawings, so like your automation for your fab tickets that I showed you, similar function here for pipe spools and piping isometrics and all that. Assembling. I have C classes written on pipe. Okay, so still in piping. Here's some PDM stuff. So that's kind of the bulk of it. If our help page was working, there is a section. Let's see if by chance it came, but hey, now here it is. It's very interesting. Let's see if VPN suddenly works now.
Time is
All
it
right.
over there? 5 p.m.
In Germany, oh yeah, it's
4 p.m.
quitting time. Yeah, it's quitting time.
All right.
That
Get it
building
done
clears
before the
out.
weekend.
They tend to work really long Monday through Thursday, and then they maybe not till lunchtime, but 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock, people start. There's a mass exodus there at headquarters. Seems to be what they like to do, but.
So I like to do on Fridays.
So even though, so Barry.
Yeah.
Here, if you were to open up the help page as of now, you would notice in the file path that you got a 2025 here. You can just change that to a 2026.
Oh.
And, or any version for that matter. And now you can price here what's new in HiCAD. And here it'll start showing you a lot of the things that were probably more detail than this PowerPoint.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's cool.
You can start look through this. It'll even go to, if you were to go to a section like let's say element installation and say what's new. So each subcategory here, the tree, will tell you what's new for these topics. So anyway, that's pretty neat. What I was trying to show you earlier, and I'll just search for it here, is there drawing derivation.
I tried to
And
get the AI to automatically reference this, and it won't. It won't use the search function.
Hmm.
Otherwise, that would be perfect. I would just go there and just type it in
so here
myself.
you go. Derived drawing. Here's your menu that we were looking at. And here it'll go into, so it's got different sections. They used to be numbered, now they're colored, but they didn't change the numbers to. All right. If you want to use, so I guess now you gotta, God, they used to have numbers on them. Well, sorry about that. But if you want to use already existing
right.
settings, so that would be referring to drawing parameters, drawing target. Up here, I guess you can pretty much figure it out, but these sections used to be numbered, and then you would go to the number and you would know which one it is. Anyway,
They should circle a text with a corresponding color or something,
something.
or put it back to numbers.
Let's see. Here, I think I don't know if this is just me or you too, but you can give feedback on this page. And here it opens up something. If you found a mistake online, this is probably for you too.
Yeah, I got it.
You can give your name, email, and your comment. Say, you could say, hey, I like the color categories, but the numbers used to link to the bottom here. Um, so that's available at any time.
Would they listen to us quicker than they listen to you?
I'm trying to think. In my opinion, they should. Like if you got a customer commenting on that, I would think
Mhm.
that would be more received,
Yeah.
rather than somebody internal. On the flip side, if somebody internal is saying it, they're trying to fix the problem before the customer would then bring it up. So
Yeah.
I feel like internal or external, it should be pretty well received.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see, what was I trying to say? Oh yeah, I wanted to go to. Oh, here it is. When did they release this? This week. So here's 30.24. So this right here, 30.24 is where he said there was this that those fab ticket derivations was fixed. So
Okay. And he just updated that message, but yesterday or today, yeah.
he sent me this
Hello,
today
Robert.
because
Yeah.
I wrote him an email last night. So let's see, when did it
Okay.
say this came out? So this came out a few days ago on Tuesday. So release notes. So here you can click on release notes, and these are all the issues that were solved. And here we actually should find my ticket
Hopefully.
number. 12351 was my ticket number on this problem. One, two, three. Of course, they're not in order.
Control
One,
F.
two, 12351. I don't think it would be here. Did he lie? Or did he fix it and not track it?
Yeah, may not be tracked.
It's possible. 12351. Yeah, I don't see it here. Well, hopefully that's not bad news. That's kind of good to read through.
Yeah.
But I kind of agree with what you said earlier. If a particular version is doing everything that you want it to do just fine, leave well enough alone.
Yep.
Now, if there's a new function or something that you want to, you want to use or you want to explore, then there's maybe a reason to make a change. But
Right.
until you have one, I got
Right.
some people just, oh, new version, new version, new version. Well, okay. And then they download the new version, and then there happens to be a small problem with something that they used that was working perfectly in the version before.
And the likelihood of that is actually pretty good, in my experience.
I can
I don't
confirm that as well. And
never
it
like to jump on new updates.
blows my mind, but again, I'm not a programmer. I don't have the first clue what really
Yeah.
goes on in the background.
But even as an IT guy, I wouldn't jump on the latest and greatest updates because it often makes things worse. You know,
It can.
or there's a function that gets deprecated somehow, or when they bring in a new function, it kind of you see some like a slight regression in overall performance. Those kind of, and a lot of times they're under pressure to get those patches and updates out, and they're not always thoroughly tested before they're released. When there's that kind of a pressure to get stuff out.
Mm-hmm. So here, this 2026 patch 1 is next Friday. Usually there's an internal release that's sooner than that.
Oh, that's an external
This is
patch already.
This is released. Yeah, next Friday they'll have a 2026 patch 1. I would at least wait for this before anybody would go to. Most people wait till this, which is usually end of January. Okay, February. So remember, you know how Europe does their dates differently? They got day first and then month. So this is February 11th. So yeah, so I would wait till at least here on 2026 if I were you.
Okay.
But I think you can already get. But you might want to do this. I might wait till next. I might wait till next Friday to install this. Here's what happens on my side. So I got all these versions here, but
Right.
the Windows only thinks I have one.
So when you go back and forth, that utility alters the registry too.
Correct. The only problem that occurs is if I'm in. So usually my latest installed, which is the one that Windows thinks that I have, is the only one that I can generate a bill of materials Excel from. So some reason on the way it works in the background is if I go to any version other than this one, I can still enter report manager. I can still manage the data. I can do everything else. But if I ask for an Excel, it'll very strange things starts happening. It'll do nothing for way too long, and then it'll actually open up two versions at one time, which is the very big confusion for the computer. And then it'll actually try to extract that Excel file from the Windows. We'll say that the version Windows thinks it has, even
Are
if
you
I have an
talking
older
about
one open.
like an XLS file or comma separated values? You mean Excel like Microsoft's native Excel
You know
or
how you can You know how you can take your project here, say, bill of materials, and
Okay, I see.
you open up your BOM manager here, and then you can
Okay.
say here, hopefully this is correct.
Or
Here
if you
can
could,
say,
I guess my question is, can you distinguish between XLS and CSV?
well,
Or
what I'm trying to do here, which I'll show you in a minute, I gotta fix one thing real quick. Have I showed you this?
this function yet? I don't think so.
So you can create this BOM export in Excel here with all this different types of data. You can arrange it. You can customize this. You can show it in different ways. Okay, I accidentally, I guess I had metric active just now. But you can fix this up how you want it. You can eliminate tabs for data that are not important to you. You can put your own logo here. You can really make this your own. It's actually really pretty neat. But if I was in one of these, any versions underneath the top one here in my little tool here, then it would not be able to produce this correctly. That's the only drawback to having multiple versions. Which, okay, is that really a big deal? Well, if I'm giving training and I'm trying to show that function, or if I'm giving a demo and I'm trying to show that function, then
Yeah.
it's kind of it kind of stinks. So what I'd like to have is my 2026 as my main version and these as secondary versions. So if I was to install this 2025 updated here, that would now be the version that I could produce these Excel bombs from. And I'd like to be able to do it in the 2026. So I'd either have to install 2025 and turn right back around and put 2026 again on top of it. Or what I'd like to do is just wait till the end of next week when I've got an updated 2026 and an updated 2025 to install, do the 2025 first and then do the 26 after it, and then I'll maintain the BOM functionality the way I want. It still just blows
Gotcha.
my mind with all that they can do over there in Germany is that they can't create a way where I can extract a BOM from from any version I want.
Well, that's just an issue isolated to you.
Yeah, you're not going to have that problem because
Right.
we do not support customers having multiple versions.
Right.
Some customers do it anyway. Okay,
That's
well,
just a limitation of your unique circumstance. That wouldn't necessarily apply to anybody else.
most people know, although we have a client slash partner in Macedonia, Europe. He he works for clients that also use HiCAD. So sometimes the client requests a 2025 version delivery, and sometimes, let's say he starts working with a client that now is 2026. That client demands a 2026 version delivery for his deliverables, and so now he's kind of in an interesting situation. So I think what he does there, I don't know what he does there. Maybe he manually changes his registry entries based on what he's doing. But then he would then be stuck with his bill of materials that I don't know if his client demands a bill of materials or if they just want the drawing model and then they can create their own bill of materials. But that's where
I
it gets a
prefer
little
to stay
interesting.
away from the registry.
I hear you.
Bad things can happen. Pretty easy.
I know now well enough to just looking, no touching in most cases.
Right.
But I just know the few keys that I got to know about to make things happen here, and I stay well enough away from anything else. But that's good news. Maybe I'll go ahead and download it. Take a little while. It's usually faster when they've left for the day. The download speed seems better
Huh.
dramatically.
Yeah, I'll bet.
All right.
I've had my sister and her husband's in from out of town. Had them in for 15 days, and
Okay.
this is their last full day. So I'm looking forward to getting back to life as normal life.
Sure. Understand that. You want to do short break?
Yeah, we usually do it about 11 o'clock. So I'm out of water. Let's
Yeah,
go ahead
we're-
and take a break.
Okay. We'll do the
Okay.
usual about 15 minutes or so from now.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Cool.
You find any bugs in that software, Marco?
I don't know. What software? I don't know. I didn't play around with it.
That was hilarious. I haven't seen it do what you guys did in the very first shot. What you punch in there? It was 48 tall.
Yeah, like 400 degrees rotation.
And then Grant says, "Yeah, we're here to break your shit." That was pretty funny. Never really made much of an effort to make it Grant proof. This lesson's going pretty easy so far. I think as long as we can get the video and we've covered everything, I feel very confident we can just type in a search. The online help is extremely thorough, it seems like. And on top of being able to reference any part in any video.
We got plenty of like support too. So I mean, get as far as we can on a project. Something's getting a little goofy. I'm sure we can do a 20-minute support call or something.
Yeah,
And you're like, oh, I'm just missing this.
yeah. And Robert did express that, it's not unusual to have him come out, to on the start of a big project and just have him just establish. But I would like for you and I to get down with the Volar project,
Right.
do the best we can, and then by the time Pepper Tree gets here, we'll just have like some some light questions or something. Ideally, sure we'll run into some snags somewhere, but I still feel confident we'll get through those.
Yeah, I started playing around. Made panel with 4 different returns. Oh, I'll share it quick. I got into my element installation here. I got the table menu with top return, bottom return, left return, right return.
So you've got them super custom.
Getting there.
Are those
The most
Are
part
those the
works
eight-
pretty good.
are those
This
8
one-
parameter panels?
No, this is just the 4-sided.
I'd like to be able to do the same with an 8. I think once we get the 8 parameter pattern panel down,
Right.
it would just be a matter of changing
Hello?
parameters.
What did I mess up on this? Yeah, it's definitely 400. Sure. It should be Luzanne. I got that number wrong. Okay.
Okay, as long as I know, that's cool, I can change it and I'll just email you the changes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Found the number of the same line.
I have piano too.
I remember having trouble walking into that.
You're about Brad?
Yeah, what'd you do to Brad?
I don't know. He got fed up with the shit here. Just quit.
Yeah, and
He's been telling me he's like, I don't know, they're throwing him a bunch of jobs that stuff he didn't really excel at. And caused a whole bunch of stress, anxiety, and what was getting to him. Didn't want to do it anymore. Come back do something easier.
I don't think it was above his head.
No, I don't know what he was doing, but well, he said
I
he was
just-
like driving in, is having a kind of crappy day, and he was trying to call Bill and Travis and let them know he wasn't gonna be coming in or whatever. Couldn't get a hold of anyone, and then Howard texted him like, "Hey, asshole, get your ass to work." Just being how Howard and him text each other all the time.
Hmm.
When he was already having a bad day, just took the shit real personal, I guess.
I know it's stressful. The only thing I heard was they just give him a bunch of different jobs to work on at the same time. If they're like totally unique jobs, not that big of a deal. But when you've got, like, let's say you're doing one job that has railing and the other job has a similar railing, but one's 1 3/4 posts, the other one's 2 inch posts. Easy to get them mixed up. That sucks.
Yeah.
He was pretty good to have around most of the time.
Well, see, maybe he'll come back and calm down a little bit, give him some time. I think Travis will probably let him back.
Fine, I guess he hung up at least one job out to dry. I thought he was a lot further along than he was. It turns out, I guess he wasn't. I found some parts just sitting outside. Well, there's that.
Yeah.
But it's hard to find a decent fabricator. I wonder if he's working for what's his name? Who's that welder who used to work here?
Yeah, that's what I heard, been out there helping.
Yeah.
He's doing all right out there. He said he made enough to get his truck paid off this year. After like freaking 10 grand or some shit.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like, I need to get my car paid off. Can I come work?
Right?
Work that much. I gotta get a decent laptop. Probably this year on Black Friday. I guess some of the Black Friday deals are already starting. On a laptop, run my laser off of.
Yeah. Get you set up doing some CAD stuff.
Get a little laser engraver at home, actually get it running. I was messing with it pretty
You've
good
already-
for a couple
You've
months.
already got it?
Yeah, I was running it off my old laptop for a little bit, but it's like an old ass version of Windows and doesn't let me do any kind of updating, and it won't let me on the internet. It's a huge pain in the ass. So
You have a rotary?
not
Or-
yet.
You got plans for that? Do we need to design one?
I don't know. There's a huge, or a bunch of people are freaking Tumblr market and stuff. I'm not really trying to. I don't know. I may end up getting one just to customize gifts for friends and shit eventually, but
You could do things like baseball bats.
yeah. I don't know what. Right now, I plan to start with like I don't know, pocket knife, just do easy crap like that, and do gun magazines and like stippling on handles and shit. Just depends on or grips. I don't want to do anything after fucking with an FFL, but as long as there's not a serial number on the part, you can send it to me and I can laser it.
You could do. I always felt like mullets should have. I don't know, some companies will put like a nice engraved, just have it riveted onto, mullets aluminum products.
Yeah.
And then again, if welds end up cracking, you're gonna wish that wasn't on there.
Yeah, I've seen stuff like especially like the 1911 grips. Those are all interchangeable, different woods, different plastics.
Yep.
You can do all kinds of shit with that. One main thing is getting a like a fixture plate made and getting repeatability and stuff on it right now. It's the alignment thing I struggle with, trying to make sure it's perfectly aligned because you get one shot once you laser shit.
Yeah. Well, that would just be a matter of setting up some stops, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they got a couple cool different.
Material is here.
They're like the layout tools for doing tile and stuff, where you can kind of shift things over. And you got like 4 different bars and stuff. Some people use those things quite a bit. I'd like to get maybe like an aluminum plate here, and maybe cut some grooves in it and set up some pins or something, and have like some sort of grid system where I can know.
Just throw some shims in there.
Yeah.
Well, how precise? You're going to be pretty precise on what you do, but what if your block of whatever you're doing is just off by 0.5 millimeter? That's not a big deal, is it? On the part?
Not too bad. I mean, if you do a little like laser, a bunch of grooves or something, and you make the profile a little bigger, it's not a big deal. But trying to get stuff right on, you gotta be dead ass. They make certain laser softwares will have like a trace feature where it'll shoot the laser and do the profile around where your part's supposed to be, so you can really sit there and get your alignment.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. I just gotta find some sort of product that I can run a bunch of. If I get like with the 1911 grips and make a little fixture sheet that holds 10 at a time and do them all. Have a little plate I can just remove off the bed and pop it back on. It should be lined up with the corner.
Or do them custom. I have a few custom, unique custom designs, but I mean, would people want their names on the grips?
Yes, I enjoy having my name on a murder weapon. That's a
Well,
great idea.
Mine would be a self-defense weapon, not necessarily.
I'll put someone
murder
else's name on it.
weapon. Yeah, right?
Go track down a John Doe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always see like AR mags pretty cheap. I don't know, the P mags like $10 a mag. Do some custom lasering on them, turn around and sell them $20 a mag. Still not a ridiculous price. And you got something personal and custom.
I like that.
I don't know how much trademark I can get away with. Start throwing some like Gucci or Louis Vuitton logos on some fucking AR mags, make them look fancy.
Just stay away from Mickey Mouse. You'll be all right.
Well, I could see like an outdoors club doing a mass purchase of various mags with their custom logo on it.
Right.
Shooting group, shooting club.
Yeah. I've done a couple stainless things with it. It'll get into stainless, but aluminum's too much of a heat sink for my laser. So the minute freaking laser hits, it's just shooting the heat out everywhere. And it's not really
Does
kind
it
of crazy.
affect,
Yeah.
does it affect it more as you continue into the operation?
I don't know. I think just totally because it's only like a 5 watt laser. I think it's just totally reflective for the power. It just doesn't have enough to. They say you can get some marking spray too if you put this like black spray paint on marking paint.
Flat.
Yeah, and then the laser will actually sit there on the paint and kind of transfer down through too a little bit.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I've seen people do glass, like coat the whole glass in the etching paint, and then you freaking burn into glass so it doesn't just shoot right through the glass. I tried doing some
That'd be
acrylic
really
one
cool.
time, and I found that out that it shoots right through the fucking acrylic. It burns out that thing underneath it.
5 watts does?
Oh yeah,
Well, you can cut with it, but just for
yeah,
the engraving part, wouldn't you dial that? You could dial that back, couldn't you?
yeah. Yeah, I tried cutting on it. Did one little cutting operation. It's fucking fast. There's some wood. It was like, oh
Really?
damn, that cuts real quick.
How thick was you cutting?
It was like some 3 millimeter or something, but it was like freaking 1 or 2 passes, and it freaking just smoked right through that shit. I'm like, oh damn.
You could do some pretty cool balsa wood
Yeah,
model
it'd be
parts.
cool. Make some little model airplane. And
Yeah,
put a whole sheet of balsa on there and spit it out.
go to town. Yep.
Um, Carbon fiber. I'm interested in trying some carbon fiber. That'd be cool.
Cutting it?
Imagine. I don't want. I don't know why not.
So
I
you'd
try to
order a
catch
sheet.
fire.
You'd order a sheet and then cut it. Well, if you could cut acrylic, I mean, carbon fiber is nothing but carbon with a bunch of epoxy,
Right? Yeah, I don't know, I'm sure it could do.
carbon fabric with epoxy.
I know there's a bunch of little RC parts. People do like chassis and shock towers and stuff out of some carbon fiber flat stock. And like hell, let's throw a whole sheet down and you can pop out your own little assembled RC car.
Gun frame.
Yeah.
Be down for that. I'd beat the hell out of 3D printing.
Right.
Yep. Do it right.
Yeah, I haven't been brave enough to throw any of my guns on the fucking table yet. I'm like, maybe I start with like go buy me a polymer 80 grip and play around with that. I do have that old 22 Russell gave me. Maybe I stick that wood fucking stock on
I
my
remember
laser.
that.
Yeah,
There's
I'll throw that stock on and have a little fun. Uh,
official.
right.
I don't think I can just search D.
Dynamic. Yeah.
Dynamic engineering design. All right, cool. Well, only one comes up, so
Perfect.
refill the water real quick.
I'm going to the Freedom Factory racetrack tomorrow.
Where's that at?
Bradenton off 64. That YouTuber Cletus McFarland, the racetrack he owns up
Oh,
there.
this place?
Yeah. They're having a burnout rivals competition. It's basically 4 hours long with fucking burnouts.
Dang.
They got the amateur class. You can sign up for $100 to enter your car. You got to pass like a safety technical. Make sure you're not gonna fucking blow up your radiator, spew hot water all over everybody, or catch on fire. But then they have the YouTuber class, and then they have the professional class, which has like 2,000 horsepower, blown methanol, fucking drag cars with little street tires on them.
How far out is it, his place?
Not too bad, about 5 miles off the highway or something.
That's not bad at all.
No. My nephew's working the event, my sister-in-law, I think one of my nieces is. They're like, we'll get you in for free. I was like, oh, well, last events were sold out, and I wanted to make sure I was getting the tickets, so I already bought them. Help support the racetrack too. You can't keep
Yeah.
putting on events people aren't fucking paying to come in, so. But the sister-in-law did say, she's like, come on my booth, I'll give you free beer all day. I'm like, take you up on that one though.
Is that just Saturday or Saturday and Sunday?
Friday and Saturday. Tonight they have a 2.4 hour endurance Crown Vic race. They have two different drivers racing Crown Vics around. There's I don't know how many teams, like 10 teams at least, but it's 3/8 mile track, 2.5 hour endurance race. And then tomorrow is the burnout rivals competition.
They're
I
gonna
really
have
got
food
something
trucks
else
and
going
stuff
on
there.
tonight.
Food trucks.
Well, you got the Goodyear Blimp come in town and circle his freaking racetrack for the events this weekend too. And it's like, dang, how big you got to be to actually get the Goodyear Blimp to come out?
Right? I'm looking forward to a quiet weekend. No company.
All right, hey guys. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I had a call from Lowe's first thing this morning when I was jumping on this call, and basically I'm trying to do a backsplash in the kitchen, so I need approximately like 200 tiles. And Lowe's seems to have trickle amount. One store has like 5 tiles and another store has like 20 tiles and another store. So I said, okay, let's just place an online order. So I go online and I'm trying to select about, 200 is what I'm trying to get. And it only allows me to type in 161. Like 161 is the largest amount that you can order. I said, all right, well, let's go with 161 then. And the store that gets this order apparently only has 137. So I'm like, how the hell do I actually obtain some tiles here?
Oh,
And
that's funny.
the lady that called me from a particular store didn't give me her name or like a callback number. So I'm calling the main store number, going to about 20 different automations, trying to get to an actual person who figures out who I need to talk to. And I don't know. It's how's anybody
Yeah.
supposed to get a project done? I mean, I'm doing like one area in the kitchen. Let's say somebody had a whole like a whole big wall to do, or I
You're like
something
thousands.
much larger than this. Yeah. So they've got, this store has 137, another store has 22. Of course, they're in opposite directions. And then there's supposedly another store in there that has a few more. So I get to run around all afternoon and find tiles.
Jeez.
Anyway,
That's interesting. 161 max.
that's that was the only number. Well, I could type in that number or a lesser value, and I'm thinking this is going to a warehouse, right? It's and oh, that's
Mhm.
the other thing. These tiles are sold. They're sold by the tile. They don't actually. They come in boxes, and each box has 33 tiles in it. But I can't say I want one box. I can only say I want X number of tiles. So I'm
Oh
like,
my God.
I want like 7 or 8 boxes. If I can get 8, that's great. If we only have 7, I'll try to make it work. But I kind of like plenty of oh shoot, I chipped that one. Let's get another one.
Yeah.
I don't want to be forcing myself to put a chipped cut on the wall because I'm afraid of running out of tile. Like it's $1 a tile, like a $1.30 a tile. I don't really care. I need a box full of tiles. Man. All right.
That's
Well,
weird.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like I ought to go online. I say I want 8 boxes. If they tell me that's on back order, then tell me it's on back order. If you tell me you can only get 4 boxes now, then okay. And then the other 4 will be on back order, or just tell me, hey, we can get you only 7 boxes, and unfortunately it will be 2 weeks. Okay, then let's make it 2 weeks. I mean, I don't really care. There's got to be a better way.
You
Freaking
would think.
Lowe's. Lowe's is pretty good at a lot of things, but this one's a little strange.
Interesting.
All right. So sorry about the long break.
That's all right.
I feel like we've been all over the place today. So the Derive thing, you think you have enough of a start here to sort of start playing around on your own and kind of at least play with it as it is, and I'm going to try to tell you what version will actually do what I want it to do, and I believe also what you would like it to do.
I think so. I think,
Okay.
like I said, I got that training material set up. I feel good about that.
Okay. We just don't
You
have
talking
like a
about
book.
today or? in the future,
Oh,
like next.
for what do you mean? Oh, just like the derived drawing was a topic for today.
Oh, the
So I
derive.
know,
Okay, yeah,
like
yeah.
I
I
showed
think,
you some.
yes, I think that was very informative. I think it's also somewhat self-intuitive, even if
It
everything's
is.
not working right. Like you said, we can always go into the individual customization rather than use the backside config. And I think that would help our understanding.
Yeah, I
At
mean,
least know what we need to have.
making sheets on your own to learn things can then help you understand and create the automation. So it's not
Yeah.
necessarily a bad thing either way.
And if
But
it becomes an issue, if that
it,
issue still persists by
it it will
February,
need it will need to be fixed. This
right?
needs to be fixed because this is a huge basis for
Why
a
we purchased it.
demonstration
Yeah.
for think of we sell you on automation. We say, hey, we can streamline your workflows, and this is a huge part of that. And if I can't actually produce this sheet that I see a lot of customers like you using, then it's kind of like, okay, um,
We would
that's why I
still, yeah,
classified it as a major bug. There's a trivial bug, there's a minor bug, there's a major bug, a critical bug, and then there's another one above that, which is basically, everything stopped. So there's all these different tiers, and if you call everything, I mean, this isn't critical. It might be critical if you had a job that you had to crunch out 1,000 fab sheets on, then I
yeah.
might call this critical. But at the moment,
I would call it
nobody's.
at least major because
I
that's,
called it a major.
yeah, that was because it was a huge selling point for us
Yeah.
as far as we're concerned. And if it's a huge selling point, then it's at least classified as major. I would think.
That's why I went with major, and since I have customers using it in that way, they're not using these few versions that are impacted right now. If I had somebody that was actually producing and this was holding them back, I would probably make it another level, and I would have my supervisor who goes to the Germany office about once a week. I would have him go there and poke and prod. And
Yeah,
he's actually pretty good at that, actually.
good.
So okay, so we got the derive. So remember I told you these dimensioning rules. So the rules, so we were using sheet developments and assembly views with annotation tags. Uh, and the sheet development parameters already give you dimensioning. So that's in here, right? Or you can check dimensions or not. That's not dimensioning rules. This is sheet parameters. So say you had just a standard sheet metal part, folded together, and you wanted to dimension, and you wanted that automatically dimensioned, which I don't know if maybe you do, maybe you don't. I tend to see people
Mike,
focusing on the flat pattern mostly. What we have here is dimensioning rules, and it's linked to what's called a usage. Um, Remember earlier on, I told you there's this term called usage, which is just a category. Okay, we have categories already existing, and you
you
can
said
also make yeah.
usage can be considered the settings behind the derivation.
Okay,
Right.
that's good. So it's the
Yeah.
settings. It could be also used to classify a part or an assembly let's say, for your panel. So you could say the usage is, you know, Mullets panel we could create, and then that would be the settings behind your assembly views. And we'll alternative create maybe Mullets sheet or Mullets ACM or whatever you want to call it. And those will be the settings behind what types of views are created for the sheet metal for the sheet metal part.
Right.
So you got assembly level views, and you got sheet metal part views. Okay, and they can be together on the same page, like I was trying to produce for you. I did in the older version, and you can also put them on the separate pages like we started out. You still would need one usage for the panel assembly and one usage for the sheet metal part.
Okay.
So dimensioning rules are linked to a usage. And let me just pick one here. So here's one. And so here we can create different different rules. So each view, okay, so you know you can have different types of dimensions on different views. So say you got a front view, you're going to have certain things dimensioned, and then you have a left view, you're going to have certain other things dimensions, right? So your, oh, here's development. Okay. So you got different types of views can be created for different types of dimensions for different types of views. For example, right now, what I activated here has what actually looks like we got assembly length. So the length of the whole assembly, which in this case would be just the panel. Here it looks like, sorry to confuse you, we got some steel riffraff floating in here that are irrelevant, like bores and a flange of a beam. So what we have here is the ID of the dimensionings, and this long list mostly applies to steel and structural. But here at the bottom, we have sheet metal, okay? And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, looks to be about 15 or so rules associated with that, such as sheet metal length, sheet metal width, height. We got some other ones. We got an angle. So we got these rules here that can be related to your sheet metal. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't have a cladding customer. Yeah, I might have showed them once, but I'm not even sure they could tell me where or what this is if I ask them again after even a couple years of production. So I want you to know that it's here, it exists. You can write down in your note, dimensioning rules equals the dimensioning settings for the derived views set in the usage. So the usage is the derivation setting. The dimensioning rule controls how the dimensionings appear on these automatic drawings. My advice to you is to try to remember it's here, but kind of forget about it for now, unless we need to come in here together and make a tweak.
Okay.
Now, if you want to know more, again, our trusty help is actually pretty good here. Here we have dimensioning rules, overview, and here is, remember I showed you that long drop down? Here is every single rule, and some of them have
Wow.
pictures showing exactly how here's a here's a beam with some kind of anchor plate here. And so this rule number 56 defines how these dimensionings appear. You can have type, you can have chain, you could have, let's go look at it again. So let's just take a look at this one. So here's your list and type of dimension. So you got chain, a running coordinate, a running chain. You got all these different types. Position of the chain. Do you want to see it at the top, the bottom, the left, the right? That's what's happening here. Dimension change reference. This can be a little tricky because you got so many different ones, and it's a little bit picky about having things compatible. So I feel bad for the steel structural people. There's a lot here. It's very powerful. We can automate their drawings very well, but it's a little bit to get there. And because we got all these different chain reference and direction, it's a little particular. And it's almost trial and error sometimes to really get that right. Because I don't know that there's anybody in the company that knows every single rule. Some have more experience here. I figure the steel structure, the trainers working with those people, they may have a little better grasp on it, but anyway, let's go back to let's go back to this page here. And so down here, we will have sheet metal right here. So here are the rules. The rule just gets a number. It's just a number assigned to that parameter. And so here are the rules for sheet metal. We've got, they seem to be growing slightly, but it seems to be about 15 of them here that are available. But let's see where we get with your drawings when we really dig in into setting up your templates and getting that going. I believe step one is going to be some kind of software update here because what I'd like to get set up for you, we've seen the troubles a little bit earlier on today. So so I think we need an update to a fixed version, and then we can set your templates up. Barry, if you want to try to send those over, we can also look at them together, whether it's in class or outside of class. That either would be fine.
Okay. Talking about the templates for panels, not title
Templates.
block.
No, I mean the title block template. Sorry.
Okay.
So that when you grab something here, it's going to be your company template.
Right.
Here, and that's not so difficult, but you just gotta. Takes me about an afternoon to set it up to get a first draft going. It should be faster than that, but I only do this every like 3, 4, 6 months. So
Marco, do you think we need to make any changes to our standard title block for this?
I don't think so.
I don't think it takes up any more room than Robert's HiCAD example. They're about the same. They seem to be.
Yeah.
is it a letter size or it is a 11 by 17?
Typically 11 by 17 is what we print on.
Yeah.
So that would be a B, NCB, right?
NCB, yeah.
Or Arch B. To be honest, I'm not so savvy on why we have ANSI Bs and Arch Bs, but we can make it any size you want. Typically, we do an ANSI set and an Arch set. I think the arches are just a little bigger than the ANSIs for some reason. Why? I can't answer that. But they can be any size you want them to be.
Okay.
What I would start with is I would take the DWD file that I hope you're gonna send me.
DWG,
And
yeah.
I would compare the
DWG.
file size with this ANSI. And when I say the files, I mean the file size. I mean the width of the
Yeah.
frame. And see if they're close. And just comment on that. And if we can leave it alone, whatever size it is, that's fine. If you want it to conform to the declared format size of an ANSI, we could do that. Or we could just say, hey, you've been using it like this for a while. Let's just keep doing it.
Right.
But
I'm gonna do it now while you're right here. If I don't, I'll just forget.
sure.
Just gonna send you a template. Is it all right if it's in the layout tab, or do you need me to drag it over into model space? Just as a block in a DWG file.
I would prefer model space.
Okay.
I think either would have worked, but I like model space a little bit better for importing.
It's as a block. I don't think you need all of our engineering contacts in there, because we don't necessarily use them all. But I'm going to leave a couple there just so you know what the intent for those places are.
Yeah, that can be
And
helpful.
what'd you say?
Yeah, that also can be helpful. You also, if you leave tags in there, I hopefully could convert those to text, to HiCAD text, and then I can control them via 2D dimensioning as text. In their case, I could say delete text all, or I could say in a rectangle. It's not too hard to clean that up.
Right. Save this as Mullets title block. DWG. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna mail it to you right now.
All right.
Robert Spencer. Oh, 8 megs just for a title block. And I purged the drawing. There's nothing else in it.
Not sure how big they usually are.
It just seems I don't know, I did an import from FlexiCAD that was like 35 kilobytes.
Yeah, I
Needed
just
bigger
checked
text
another
file.
customer's. Theirs is 129K. What do you got going on in yours, man?
I don't know, I purged everything. I've only got one layout tab. Oh, it's probably what's in the layout tab. I didn't delete the one layout tab, so it's probably all those. It's everything in the layout tab.
I mean, 8 meg really isn't that big either, but it just is a little curious.
In this day and age, I'm gonna delete this other layout tab, see what it saves as, and then purge. I'll save it as something else, just for my own curiosity. It just seems a little, back in the dial-up days, that was a big deal.
I know.
That was a big deal.
I got your folder here ready to go.
That was quick. 1B. Let's see what 1B turns into. Oh yeah, that brought it down to 2 meg, and all I did was delete just some some of the engineering company
Oh,
info on the one layout tab I included in your. So you could delete all that unless you need me to send you the smaller file. I can do that too.
eh.
Yeah, there you go. You got it.
Sometimes you get some interesting things like that to clean up. But
The text is off, not quite lined up right.
Yeah, make it however you want.
could also be how the setting was. I mean, we got this, whatever this is floating up here. That could
You
also
can
be,
delete that. That
yeah.
was one of our engineering companies. Yeah, you can delete that. Yeah, that's the gist of it. I don't know what the heck that is. I never saw that before in my life. What's that?
A part of your logo.
Wow.
Plus, I see it over here too.
Huh.
Huh.
Interesting.
So we got this in drawing. We have this delete anything 2D in a rectangle. So
Mm-hmm.
that might sound okay. Well, how does that differ from, this delete or this delete? Well, geometry has its own delete, dimensioning has a different delete, and then text actually has a different delete of its own. And we do that for control. But let's say you just want to quickly clean that up like I just did, then I come over to this one.
2D and rectangle.
Yeah. And it's on the
Okay.
drawing tab for some reason in this
Under object.
delete objects. I
selection.
don't know why they didn't put this over here somewhere. I don't know, maybe because it doesn't have an obvious home, because it does a variety of things. I don't know. So yeah, I guess we could do
Yeah,
tiny
is
bit
there
of,
an engineering? Is that an address in the upper right rectangle? I would get rid of that. We don't need that. We would put whatever we want. I don't think we put anything right there.
Is
Those-
this for you
I didn't-
guys or is this a different address?
That's not for us. We
Okay,
usually put whatever engineering company we're working with in that spot. So that should be flexible. Everything else pretty much the same.
J
Self-explanatory.
customer, yeah.
The
So
J and the
usually what I
S is
do,
just a
usually what I
placeholder.
do here, instead of a logo like this, is I go get an actual JPEG file and append it to the
Okay.
title block. It's a little more modern. You don't have to do it that way, but that's our recommendation. And
Will
there's
it
a
still
couple.
populate it and make it look the same way? The JPEG?
It should, like, I would literally go out here and I would search for, you guys, Mullets, aluminum products, logo. And I go over here to images and
This is
I got, there's the M, or if you wanted the whole thing on there too, it looks like, okay, you have the M and then you have the text. I would probably try to take something like this. And let's see. Is it gonna make me save each? Yeah, I don't want a web file. And then sometimes I have to play games trying to actually get a JPEG.
yeah, if you open it up and there's one with a transparent background.
Like this. See when I
Yeah.
scroll to the top. So like
Should be able to get that one.
I could,
Right click and do a save as. Or we could send you one. We would definitely want
yeah.
it to be of good high quality.
I mean, it doesn't have. It's not super big, so it's not
Mm-hmm.
that important. But
Right.
yeah, if you want to send me one, that's great. Otherwise, temporarily, I would literally say, snip, and I would come out here and I would snip a rectangle here,
Yeah,
and
let's
then
just try that, see how that goes.
I would
And
do a save as, and I would take this and I would dump it right back into the same folder just so we have a nice little collection. And here's I like JPEG. Here I would just say logo. All right, and then over here in HiCAD, so a little bit of title block, I guess, lesson here if you want it. It's pretty close. That's almost spot on. So a title block. Interesting. I got aux parts off. So here is the one I just imported. So here is the ANSI B HiCAD one. And the only requirements for a title block is that you have a main part, which can be whatever you want. In this case, it's just ANSI_B. However, a very interesting requirement here is that you must have a subpart called Schrift. What the heck is Schrift? It's the German word for title block. And the Schrift can contain, for example, an image file, a converted image file. So usually what I would do here is I would say, in this case, new part, and I would call this, Mullets, ANSI B, for example. And yeah, I guess we can put this here. And then I would say new subpart here. So you got a new main part, but if you hit this subpart, it'll go directly. If you do this one, then you just have to drag it in there yourself.
Okay.
So here, I'll right away create that subpart. And then there's, since you're gonna want to be able to use these in automation, there are a couple of things that we need to consider. The first thing I like to do is this top part needs to contain only the frame. So let's look at this one here. If I switch off that, okay, that should not be there. That's funny. See that how this represents a enclosed polyline under this part, and then all of the data portion of the title block is on this extra fee. So one thing here that I don't 100% know, what are these little marks?
You could, I don't know. I have a funny feeling.
That might cause problems. I'm not 100%.
You get rid of those. I didn't put them there.
If you wanted them.
No, I
Is
don't
it
want
for
that.
like centering? It looks like it indicates a
Yeah.
midpoint of the.
I'm assuming that's what they were for. I would get rid of them. I don't need them.
Oops, not that one.
And we don't need the J and the S in there, as those were just pre-populated fonts.
J and the S.
Yeah, and the customer name there and the project name.
Oh yeah. I understand. So let's see here. So we need to isolate this. I'm wondering, let's see, what would happen if I was to say apply polyline? Is that going to get me the exterior? I think it did. You see how it just grabbed that outermost line, and so now I actually have something here to where if I switch this import data off, you see now this part is now only the exterior contour. Let me bring this back on. Now that this is here, I'm going to switch this off to make sure this is on. And now I can start grabbing this as a subpart. So I can activate this here. What is this thing? That, okay.
You could, I mean, for the sake of what we're doing here, you could get rid of that.
Really? Okay.
My other sheet for I got one, it's got the parts list up there on one of our other drawings. It does have that little note, but
We put that in all of our.
Yeah.
If
That's usually for.
If it needs to be somewhere, could we rotate it and put it over here somewhere?
Yep.
The reason being, this is how it works. So it takes the outer contour of the frame, and then it identifies that no drawing data should go in this Shrafi area. So it's only going to use from here to here to here to here. So if over here, if this is there, I'm afraid it's gonna not try to not put data from like there to there.
Yep.
It's
really a miscellaneous thing.
We could of course test it first, but that's my hunch. How about I'm gonna take it away from now. It's not hard to add back at all.
Okay.
So let's say that I take that away. And now I'm going to capture this information. Well, we know we need to clean it up a little bit. I'm just getting the structure, how we want it. So here I'm going to apply in a rectangle. Okay. And now I have here this import data can kind of go away. And now I have frame and information block. So this is the correct structure for a title block. Now, let's see, let's look at my, okay, I created that JPEG.
Mhm.
Before let's see, I could snap from there here. Let me draw like a temporary box here. I'm going to take this. And then I wish this was maybe a little bit closer. Okay, why did I do that? Because when I do my import, so drawing, this stands for import via Explorer. Okay, you can import, this is insert part via Explorer, catalog, user, that's something special you can set up. This is Helios database commands here. So if I say import a bitmap, okay, just because it says bitmap, it accepts bitmap, GIF, TIFF, JPEG, EMF. So we're going to look for JPEG, and I'm going to go to the folder that I created that image file a second ago. MMM. So it's going to ask for a rectangle. It's going to ask for a first point and a last point. That's why I drew that box. Now, often is enough. When we got to rotate it, it made that too big because this was rotated. So if I rotated it, if I rotated this box, that would probably help me out a little bit. But at least the start point was there. So what do I need to do now? First, I'm going to go ahead and drag this in, and I'm going to say, let's rotate, and then we got rotate depth. So if I say rotate here, grab that, I can say 90, gonna be minus 90.
Minus 90 is what I would have thought.
All right, didn't do anything. Set, oh, let's just say 90. See if it does anything. I can move it, right?
Hope so.
Oh, I think I have the wrong, I had the wrong part. I was trying to move my HiCAD logo. I think that's what was going on.
I was wondering why it was moving. I thought you were trying to move that thing.
All right, now I'm getting a little annoyed here. I move it. Okay, I can move it. So let me switch these points on. So when you place it, it does give it some hidden points as bounds there. So if I had my points off, so if I turn this on, it could be I wasn't clicking on proper point. Why are you not moving? Can I scale it?
That's a raster image. I think a vector image would be better. It does a really crisp corners and edges.
That's make me mad.
Can't be mad, man. It's Friday.
Don't start turning green on us.
Right?
Constrained. Can I rotate anything?
Are you on the right version?
For what? Rotate?
Yeah.
I rotate this image. Oh. Is that a limitation? Have I ever rotated it before? I thought I had. We could also maybe save the bitmap in the maybe that's what we need to do. Let's
Save it in the catalog or something? Or in the
no, let's save the bitmap in the vertical position.
oh, I see what you're saying. Rotate it.
Do that. Rotate, rotate, rotate.
Tab.
Save. I just save it, save it.
Control S.
Oh, still pulls up save as. Fine,
Wow.
fine. We'll just save it as. Now I have to go all the way back through.
What pain.
There it is. But that's a preview of the one that's already there. I think it auto-saved. Notice how there's not a save? Let's see
Yeah,
what
it's
happens.
weird.
I close it out, open it up. All right, it's saved. I don't know how.
I see
I
it.
don't know how it did.
Saved.
But something happened there. So I'm gonna say now bitmap. All right, we're getting there. It's still a little bit so the one underneath it. Welding
Needs
and
to die.
fabrication. Do you want the welding and fabrication department in there?
Maybe
Probably
gonna
not.
go
No?
I don't know.
Okay. That's no
Maybe.
problem. Fair enough.
maybe they're all just staying in house going to.
There you go. Ooh, look at that. That's pretty close.
Wow.
Now you could either. No, I don't need my other box there. So if you wanted to, you could say something like old
Yeah.
you could say old, and then we could apply this
Right.
in a rectangle carefully. Image could be better. Of course, you probably don't notice when you're out here.
I can,
It looks okay till you start getting in.
yeah, I could upgrade that image. All I would need to do is make sure it's
Yes.
using the correct name and the size.
Yeah, I mean, we can
And,
come in here anytime and just swap the image
Yeah.
out. That's no problem. So what I would do, what I'm not going to do right now, is then I would, I can give you a quick synopsis, but I would start creating little code boxes for the fields.
Mhm.
That I'm happy to explain, but I would suggest we do it another time. I think you
Okay.
got enough to. I think you got enough to focus on.
Me
But
too.
there's a there's a couple of things else that I arrange. One is going to be your menu. So in your, it's macro 3D, isn't it? So this right here, which is in your HiCAD macro 3D, it's called whatever. I think that's another German word for title block or layout or something. I call it ramen, like ramen noodles. So when we say when we're talking about this, I say ramen file. And what the ramen file is this whole file defines this frame menu. So look at it here. You got title block, complete, a little bit about Helios, and then we got DINs, ANSYs, arches, and then these are some previous customers. I should probably take them out. Once you show them, you don't really need to keep it in there. But anyway, now let's look at this dat file that I had. So here you have, so section 1. So here's Helios. Here's your feed field. So that's being translated in the background to title block. So anyway, let's just scroll on down. So here we have DINs. So here's the DINs. Here's the DIN frames. And then we had ANSI frames. And then we had Arch. And then here's some other companies that I have here. And this is the general basis for this menu. So what I will do is I would probably not take this file. I would take a much simpler version of it, and I would then add your section to it and add you a button or any number of buttons you want, because we can take, all we got to do is make one, and then we can drive any other sizes. You might not really care about the other sizes, but it is very easy to do. So you could either do it now or we can do it later. But basically I would make a new section for you, and I would make probably just an NCV button for you to take this frame. And that's just done by revising this data file and, saving it. The other thing that I will need to do is here in the sys, we've got a couple of files called sort by name. That would be helpful. called wrong way. BRW scene. This file is your menu that pops up. So right now we got some kind of default. I got something loaded, and this I hit the O key, which brings up the complete title block button. So here it brings up this menu, and let's look here. So here we give it an attribute name. They must be translating this in the background, because the one that I will fill out will contain, let me look at a different one. Here we go. A little bit messy, but here's one where I have added fields. We say date drawn, drawn by, a hashtag, and any of these data files is ignored. So it's ignoring these lines, it's ignoring this line. So it's only looking at some of this. I wish I had a little simpler one here, but say for example, here's a non-ignored line. We got job number, and I'm assigning job number to be attribute 1. This stands for drawing attribute 1. So because scene is the German word for attribute. So drawing attribute 1, we're going to say it's an editable field. And these are the length and width of the width of the field and the character limit of the field. And over here, and so I do that to create something like this. And you can do drop downs, and you can have stuff like that, so that the attributes that are important to your title block would then appear in that menu. The last couple of things that I need to do is add these little triangles that disappear until you request them, are a text block insertion point. They're hidden until I made myself a shortcut here, but it's an information text insertion point. And here, for example, okay, job number. It's been assigned attribute number 1, so that what you populate in this menu is going to populate there. So that's kind of the gist of it. But the starting point is to get the structure right here, which we did. We can clean up the text. I usually convert the text to Arial. It just looks a little more modern, but you can pick any text that you want.
Nope, Arial's fine.
So something like this. I think this is probably Tahoma. Okay, well,
I like that one too. Actually, I like that one a little bit better, Tahoma.
So it can be.
Some people really hate it though. I don't know why.
Any of these here, including your typical ones like, Arial or Times New Roman.
Tahoma. There's another one
Probably in here.
C.
Times New Roman, or what's the?
Starts with a C. What is it?
Calibri.
Calibri. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So anyway,
that's another
you can
good one.
of course make it whatever you want. Your text type, your text color. So here, this is going horizontal, but here's where you could say, I want this to be, 90, and it'll rotate. It's a little bit on the title box. I hope it wasn't too much, but now I want to save this file so that I can return to it later, of course. Dropbox.
That wasn't too much. That's all stuff we're gonna
And I just
have.
save this in its own SCA file. And then I can return to it. Better be there. There it is. Now I can come back to it. And now this can be, I can give this to you, that's no problem. And say I would first create one, and then I would derive any other sizes that you might want from there. You might say you don't care about any other sizes, and that's fine. But it's easy to do.
Yeah.
I guess the final step would then be to take this, and I probably won't do it now. You save this as a part. You save that as a 2D part to your drawing directory. So we made you a drawing directory on your shared files, right? We made you a bunch of different ones. You had like drawings
Sure.
and references and maybe point clouds. We made a few of them. So these files need to be in that drawing directory for this menu to find them. Okay. So we'll save that. The other thing I would do is I would set this to be scale independent, so that when you scale the views in your drawing, your title block is not getting smaller or larger, right? You want that to be constant,
Right.
and
Yep.
your views to change. So you set this
Yes.
property here, and it usually wants a reference point somewhere. That's the gist of it. We can. Oh, why is save not working? I already saved it. There you go. All right. Did you follow that okay, or was it a little bit
No, I followed you.
okay?
Yeah.
Marco,
Yeah.
when we talk about exporting a development, I know we covered things a little bit here with the edges and the tooling. It didn't sound like your requirements were that hard and fast, but it sounded like you had a couple of them. How would you like to cover that? Would you like to bring an example, or would you like to save that for later, or what? Because ultimately we need to make a couple of settings. One's for creating your developments and one for creating your exports in the way that you want.
I could probably bring in an example. Like, what is it?
Usually what I do is just bring an example and we'll work through it in class. And then that way, when you're done, you actually have something you can use or close to something you can use, rather than I spend time on some general example. You would probably still get the concepts across, but
Yeah.
I don't know, we can save a little bit of time this way by actually doing the task at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, my example drawings aren't very much to begin with, but
So what do you have? You got an outer contour that needs to be a certain layer, probably.
I mean, AlphaCam pretty much runs all off one layer. I try to keep everything flat, 2D on one layer, and then control my Z geometries with the toolpath after that.
Okay,
So,
well, that keeps it one layer, does it matter what it's called, or it doesn't?
No,
Okay.
flat layers, flatter the layer. If it's only one layer, it's a lot easier for alpha game. That's for sure.
That's interesting, because that's very different from like panel builder or some of the other ones, where they have all these requirements where your tooling needs to be on a certain layer that's called something specific. It's got to be this color, this line type, blah 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 blah. And it's not hard to set
Wow.
up, but
Well, you do change the line type, of course, but everything's on a single layer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just rough drawing a simple rectangular panel. I don't even bother dashing the lines or anything. But I understand. But if someone else would come in behind me, it'd be a total crap show, probably.
so you would be drawing the. Would you not be importing something from Barry or somebody else?
I would
Or-
be going forward. I'm just as I have the way we've done it in the past is either I draw directly on AlphaCam or Barry get to the project before me. He'll lay out some stuff in Autodesk and AutoCAD, and I'll just import that into AlphaCam.
And I give that to them all in one layer as well, but I do differentiate between, a groove or a fold line versus a cut path,
Yeah,
a cut line.
definitely doesn't hurt to separate the two different line types. Makes things a little more easier for everyone to understand.
Well, how about this? We'll come up with something in general. Maybe we can dump everything on one layer. We could also put a couple of layers maybe just to see what it does.